Alrighty, how's it going, everybody? 01 back again. We are on Vulcan playing Stationeers, and I am watching my CO2 drop in temperature. Now, is this because of my tiered cooling system? Not really. Partially, but not really. So, yeah. I rebuilt one of these things. I made it much simpler though, so it's just got a little pump over here, a little purge valve over here, and then a valve over here that controls the flow in and out. So valve here is closed because the CO2 or the pollutant that's in the system is enough for the system to run, so I don't really need to do anything else. And then I have the condenser over here, and the condenser is being cooled to 140 degrees via this little guy right here, and then that is being pumped out through here, which goes into here. And then we have a very large tank on the side of the building right there, which is collecting night air. And then that night air, which is currently at 11.5 megapascals in that huge tank, is relatively cool. Now, it's interesting for a couple reasons, right? So it's 150 in there. So once we, sort all of this out, it should come out at 150, right? But the issue here is that we're actually heating it up in here because it's trying to get this to 525 when the input temperature is not that. So it's like... So what I can do here, and this would be kind of interesting. Let's see. So if we're at 150, right, and we're anticipating that this is always going to be around 150 to 200, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different stages. So if we made each stage 120 degrees, that'll put us up to 140. No, let's make it 30 degrees. Times 6 is 180 plus this. Yeah, 205. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. So let's alter this slightly and see if we can make something work here. So 25, this will be 55. Okay, and then this one will be 85. This one will be 115. This one will be 145. And this one will be 175. So we're going to drop this down a lot. There we go. So 175. So we'll see how and if this helps out at all. I'm assuming that it probably will. We can see that our percentages are pretty good here, so that's good. We're pumping out this stuff at 150, so this thing should technically be at 150. So it's heating it up in this loop here, which is not great, but assuming that we'll get anywhere between 150 and 200, I think 175 is kind of okay. And then once we get here, that should start cooling all of this down. So it's cooling it down quite quickly. And then hopefully it'll get to the point where I don't actually need this thing at all, because it's just, I don't know. So that's now at 24. Okay, so that's shut off. We'll pump all of that out. This all goes into the greenhouse. I've got the ferns replanted up there, but there is not a lot of pressure up there, so I really need, as much pressure as I can put in there right now. And then hopefully we are now generating some oxygen again and collecting it, but I don't remember what I had the pressure. I had like a limit on the pressure or whatever. All right, so we'll just let that run a little bit. And I'm going to get some food and water. And actually, oh yeah, water's definitely not great right now. Okay, and then I should probably swap this out too. Hopefully we're reasonably cool in here. And 40, that's not great. Okay, so we still have no oxygen being made. We are pulling out of the room to fill up this, so that's why the pressure in here is so low right now. So let's make ourselves another potato, because we like potatoes. There we go. All right. Now, as soon as I open this thing up, I'm going to start dying, so...
Low pressure. Oxygen low.
Yep.
Low pressure. Oxygen low.
Yep. Trying not to die right now.
Low pressure.
Okay, so that is now good. Alright, and then...
Low pressure. Oxygen low.
There we go. So that should be good now. We have a little bit of potato left. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at our greenhouse. Hopefully nothing has died. No, it looks like everything's still there. Good. And we'll see what the pressure is in here. It should be around 28-ish. Ooh, 30. 31. Nice. Alright, good. So these are growing poorly, but they are growing, which means that we are getting some oxygen in here. Temperature is under control again, so that's good. I had to mess around with this a little bit. This had like nothing to dump the heat into, so that's why this was heating up so much. I don't even know if I was recording then. Okay, so this is, I mean, they're growing poorly, but they are growing. This one's growing moderately well, so as long as they're growing, I'm pretty okay with all of this. And we can see our pressure is kind of flipping around, or at least it was flipping around. Oh, it's probably done with dumping all of that. I don't know. The pressure inside the tank is probably low. Alright, so living area still...
Tank low.
Oh, really? Okay. I'll go back in here, swap out my air tank. It'll be fine. So you had to do some construction over here because I had to turn that thing around to pull from the room. So hopefully we will be drawing some oxygen out of the greenhouse soon. You can see all of my parts over here. I've got a much smaller pile. That's because everything has kind of been pushed into here now. We are at 322. That's going to be 49. Yep, about that. Good. All right, so let's take a look at this and see what we've got going on here. So we're at 179 here, 183, 228. It's a little 243, 228, 184. Okay. So we're gonna have to let these kind of stabilize. And then hopefully once they're stabilized, we won't need to use the pollutant version of cooling. I mean, originally, like, I didn't want this to do, like, all of the cooling. I just wanted this to be just like a top-off type cooling because this last stage right here is the one that should be staying at around 25. You can see it's 115. It was higher, so it is cooling. And then, of course, as this goes, as this cools down, it heats this up, and then this, of course, heats this up, which has to cool it down, and then it just kind of shoots forward. So you get all the way over here to the end. And I don't know how well this is going to work. We have 11 megapascals. So this is inside of our large tank right there. So 11 megapascals is what we're pulling from. Let's see, and then I left that on, so this should have quite a lot of pressure in there. Okay, and it is cooling. Now, as soon as we shut this off, this will cool a lot faster. There we go. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, just kind of like trying to make it work as best as I can. But hopefully once this is done, especially since I've got this whole atmospheric collection back up and running properly, we should be able to have this just straight up pump the CO2 through here. And by the time it gets to the end, it'll already be at 25 degrees. Which means that we can just dump it straight into here, and then I'm gonna have to have some sort of connection onto here so that way I can monitor that. And then if that reaches, I don't know, like 40 megapascals or something, like to turn off the filter. It's the idea anyways. We'll see if it goes that well. I've been working on this for several hours, like several hours. Probably enough to do like 4 or 5 episodes. But I figured I was just kind of just doing all the same thing. So it kind of probably wouldn't have been all that exciting. And that should be enough, I think. And then this does not need to be on. All right. And then I have to see if this is named anything. But first, let's get this connected. And then I think the overall atmosphere of Vulcan has changed since the update. I think it's because, I mean, like before, like you would have like a gradual heating up during the day and then like a gradual heating down. Sometimes it would be an immediate cooling down, but then like the night would just kind of be steady for a while. And I think they got rid of that. So it's more cyclical. So now like at sunset, you're at about medium temperature and then it slowly drops down to the coldest point, and then it'll go back up again. And it just kind of, it's more, like I said, it's more cyclical, more circle-like. And it complicates things because like I had the systems built here to just collect that, you know, steady cold night air, but now it's like I have to collect like a greater range because otherwise the vent over there on the outside has a very small window to collect the really, really cold stuff. So that's why I had to go and update the coding in the IC over there on the wall that you can't see to collect in between or like up to 200 degrees, just so I can get enough, you know, gas in there. And then are you gonna let me do a thing? No, you can't. I can't see that. What if I did like this? No? Oh, there we go. So this is going to be tank CO2. Cool CO2. Confirm. All right. And now with that, I can reference that over here to turn off the filter if that tank ever reaches like 40 megapascals. I have hiccups right now, so if it sounds like it's weird as I'm talking here. Filter CO2, confirm. So basically, I want to be able to control these with this, so it's mostly automated, if not completely automated. We'll see how that goes, though. Oh, and then volatiles. I have to do something about that, too. I mean, I've got plenty in here. I just have to get this all connected back over there. So that's going to be fun. And I have no way of kind of refilling this either. So once we run out of those volatiles, that's pretty much it. And I need power again. I switched back to the normal batteries because I'm a little bit too far away working in here to get recharged by that thing. So I kept getting like low battery alarms, and so I had to go over here and like stand for like 5 minutes until it recharged, and I could go back over here, and then it would like another 10 minutes I'd be back over there, and it just got kind of annoying. So all right, so let's see. Now some of these should be getting cold enough. Yeah, so like this should be enough. To pressurize all of this. I think I need more pressure though. So here's what I'm going to do. This valve right here we're going to open, which is going to cause the pressure inside of here to increase. So we can see that it's going up quite quickly. And then we're going to mess up all of our stuff here. But we're going to increase the pressure in here again, because I think that'll help with the cooling. So this will just force this relatively cool air It should be coming out at like 150 or something. It should force all of that into these. So it's going to mess up the cooling a little bit because it's going to, you know, change these, but we need more pressure in here. So I'm just trying to get these things filled up. And then this should be cold. Oh yeah, that's off. Okay, so now we will pump this out. So basically, the reason why I want to put the pressure or more pressure into all of those AC unit loop, cooling loop, whatever things, is because I want all of the pollutant in here to come out, as you can see it's doing right now. And plus the temperature in here is dropping down too, so that's pretty cool. Now, once this gets up to, so this one should also start shoving the pollutant out. This one, if it cools down more, maybe. But, alright, so let's see how we're doing over here. Okay, so we're still building up pressure, that's fine. Alright, so I'm going to turn this off and let this kind of drop back down. Because I think if I put too much pressure, or if there's too much pressure in here when I open this up, it'll actually damage this window. So I would like to try to avoid that if I can. Especially with this being just like a straight open shot and then everything comes out. So you can see the vent over here, which is up above us right here. You can't really see it, but there's a vent up there on the wall. It's pulling in air, night air, cold night air. You can see we're at 152-ish. 150-ish. And that's all going into there, and then we should be seeing the pressure in here go up slowly over time. Yep. So that's doing a thing. And plus, with the amount of volume that I have in there, we should have enough to run this for a while. And then let's see, how are we doing over here? How are we doing in here? Okay, so 5.71 megapascals, 5.6, 5.5, 5.3, 5.2, 5.2. Okay. And then also, since the gas that's coming out of here is cooler than, you know, daytime air coming out of here, because this vent allows the outside air to come in here as well as this air to go out, so it's not like a one-way thing here. So if I'm pulling from my tank, which is already relatively cool, and I shove that into the cooling loops, then hopefully these will all be able to adjust a little bit easier, better. It'll make everything work a little bit faster, we shall see. But the idea here is to have kind of like an easy, like straight through cooling process for all of our CO2. And then I don't have to worry about, you know, doing this step-by-step cooling stuff. I can have it all be controlled and controlled relatively easily. And then this is just going to be for like topping off. So this is kind of like the final cooling loop, I guess, right here. And that's just, I mean, eventually what's going to happen is this will go through here. It'll be probably at like 30 degrees, then it'll go into here. And then I'll have this set to be like a back pressure regulator or something. So that way we'll have a certain amount of pressure in here. And then we'll set it to like back pressure for like 5 megapascals or something like that. And then like as this dumps in, squeezes in a little bit more into here, then that will allow some of the cooler air, because the hotter air will mix with this stuff, but it'll be cooled. So we'll see how it goes, but it's a process. We're working on it. And then we're at about 30 degrees in here now. Really? Oh, that's nice. And that's because that's really, really cold right now too, which is excellent. That's what we want. It's at 5.4 megapascals. Okay. That should squeeze out most of the pollutant here. And this one should, yep, also be squeezing out this one maybe too. not quite. We're almost there. It'll get there. All right, so that's 5 megapascals. I think we were at like 2 before, so I think having the extra pressure in here should help. All right, so now we can shut all of this off. Now, these are set to 15 megapascals, so they'll just keep on pumping until we get to 15 megapascals in each, which would be ideal. But for right now, I don't think I really need that right now. So that's going to shove all of that out. Hopefully it's not going to damage the window at all. And then that'll drop us down to atmospheric pressure, which is 25-ish. And then we can just turn this thing back on. And then hopefully this will be working relatively well. Yeah, we're at 30 degrees. That's pretty good. And then, of course, if we shut this off, it'll cool down, you know, even more. So it's good. And that's just with this kind of adding like the final little kicker on there. But I think that should be good. Just dump all of that into there. Okay, so that should be good. We can open this back up again. That should fill this back up. How are we doing in here? Okay, so that'll keep shoving all of that into the greenhouse until the point to, you know, where it reaches the pressures that I have set. Power's doing... So what I've noticed is that we have enough power to last from storm to storm. So these ones will be pretty much drained all the way, and we'll start draining these ones over here, and then we'll hit a storm, and then everything will be charged back up again. So I think that's working out fairly well. Let me go check on the greenhouse. And I still got to figure out what I want to do with this room. I have no idea. All right, how are we doing? We are at 41 kilopascals. Nice. Ferns are growing poorly, but they are growing. I think we are going to be running low on water. Oh, we have 5 liters of water. That is not a lot. That is really not a lot. But I mean, they're not dying, so I think we have enough water. But yeah, so that's doing a thing. We're still getting our nitrogen in here too, I think. Yeah, so it's just pulling out of here right now. But yeah, once we get to the point where, you know, we hit the pressures that I've set in that, everything should start kind of equalizing out a little bit. All right, so let's go and check our oxygen. See if we're pulling any off yet, because that would be amazing. We have none. Okay. Looks like we need some more pressure still. All right, but we're doing okay here. I need to put more pressure into this room, so that's another thing that I'm gonna have to work on. All right, but I think this is sort of kind of working. So in case you haven't watched the previous episodes where I kind of go over how all of this is working, we have a main loop here that just kind of goes into here and it just cools all the way back to here. And then this is just going to be a mixture of gases, and then in order to get the CO2 to remain pure as it goes through there, we have it up here on this separate line that goes up along here, and then that is only connected to this line right here and the cooling loops via these small, what are these things called? Heat exchangers. So that is how we get the temperature to go down here. I would really like it if I no longer needed to like wait forever for this. So 305, that's going to be 33 degrees, 32 degrees. Yeah, about that. And then if I close that, it's still kind of slow, so. And then in here, we're at 27 degrees, which is good. And that is attempting to cool that down, so that's also good. I feel like this needs to be a little slower going through. I mean, it's enough to cool it, right? But I just feel like, I don't know, it's not cooling it fast enough, which is kind of the whole reason why I rebuilt this thing in the first place, but whatever, it's fine. All right, so this is at 174. Okay, so that's keeping the temperature right where it needs to be. I mean, granted, this one is actually heating up the gas, but, you know, it's fine. Oh, right, that needs to keep doing a thing. All right, so that is still pumping all of our pure CO2 out of there. And then that's just making its way all the way down through here. And then I have these one-way valves in between each section. So that way, as this one cools or heats up or whatever, it doesn't transmit that same thing through here. So we end up with hotter to cooler to cooler to cooler to cooler to cooler. And it never sends it backwards. And then, of course, these loops are isolated. So they just plug into the next loop via the refrigerant. And they call it the waste port, but that's your refrigerant right there. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's working. So overall, I'm fairly happy. This should have processed out all of the pollutant. Good. This one is still working on it. There's a lot of pollutant in there, 12%. So I might have to push some more pressure into here. I mean, eventually I would like to get to that, 15 megapascals. But I think the priority right now is to just make sure that everything is staying cool. Okay, so we are at 25 degrees. Okay, so we'll shut that down. And the pressure is still going up. Why? Because it's heating up. Why is it heating up? That's weird. Whatever, we'll just drain it out. It's fine. And then all of that goes into the greenhouse. And eventually, once we hit, a proper pressure in there, this will turn off. But for right now, it looks like it's kind of needing everything we can give it. Oh, right. I had that turned off. That's why I was doing a thing. I'm smart. Right. Okay. Now we can turn that on. I don't think the greenhouse is going to care too much about that. It's 38 degrees in there. It'll cool it off. It'll be fine. All right. So it's coming out pretty hot. So I think what I need to do is slow down how fast this is going into here. And I can do that with a pump, because right now it's just taking as much as it can possibly handle because it's got, high pressure over here. So if I control this with a pump, which is why these wires are here, and a turbo pump specifically, then I can kind of cater this to the pressure that I need to make sure that we get, cool all the way down there. And then that'll just be a slow but steady, just constantly pumping in. And then I shouldn't have to worry about anything after that. And then I had this here originally because I did have the turbo pump there. I didn't want this to explode. But even at 100 whatever per minute, like the max speed for that turbo pump, like this took all of it. And it just like, no issues. This pressure never went up. So I think these filters can handle a lot of input pressure, which is cool. So there's that. So let's go and get that turbo pump back on here, and we'll see if we can kind of get it in there like where we want it to be. All right, so that will come off. I don't think it really matters which way that is. We'll put it here though. And then this, I'm gonna have to name something. So this will be turbo pump T pump CO2. Or no, this is Atmo. No, this is for the CO2 filter though. We'll do it that way. That'll work. All right, so now if we do, oh my God. Okay, so 50. It's weird, it worked before, but now it's like going crazy. Okay, so let's go like to 10. Even 10 is too much. Okay, why was it working before but not now? That's weird. Okay, so it's keeping that relatively steady. Processing 11 moles per second here. Pretty high pressure differential, which is good. Okay. So at 3, this probably isn't needed. So I don't understand what was... Oh, I think I know what it was. I didn't have enough back pressure for the pump, so even if it was set at the max, it wasn't actually operating at the max. I think that's what that was. Okay, sir, I need you. Okay, so volume pump. Yep, that's what I need. That should be fine. All right, let's see. Pump CO2 filter. I think this uses a lot less power. And then also I can do decimal places with this, so I can like really, really, you know, tune it to where I want it. So that's going to take a lot of, you know, messing around with it, I guess. But we'll drop it down to 1 and just kind of see how that works. So that's going to reduce the pressure in here, of course, which is going to reduce the amount that we can actually process with our filter. And then hopefully that'll give that enough time to like really start cooling down before we get to the end here. And then if I can get it just right, then I no longer need to worry about any of this, and I can take that out completely, and it'll just kind of feed in there as it needs. All right, so what are we at? We are at 300 degrees. 5.41 megapascals. 27 degrees. I mean, that's pretty good, right? So we'll pump that out. Yeah, so you can see that turned off now. So we're getting close to the pressure that I set.
Power low.
And of course, everything all at once is usually the way it works. Yeah, and we're actually, you know, still pretty good on power too, especially considering how much of this stuff I'm running right now. All right, we can fill this back up. And then provided we can keep this at like a proper temperature, which I don't know how much that's going to be, but eventually we can have this thing running properly. That's doing a thing. It's slowly dropping. That's fine. And of course, this will adjust as we get more pressure into our large tank there. More pressure, it'll you know, probably shove more through, but we'll see. But yeah, that appears to be doing a thing. Let me hop around the back here. I feel like I have to sneeze. Hang on. Okay. So we're at 61 degrees in here, 89, 117, 145, 173, 187. Okay. And I think, again, this is because I need more pressure in here. All right, so I'm going to turn this off for now. And then this will start building up our pressure in here. And then I can start shoving more pressure into these. And then hopefully, if the pressure is not increasing here, it still is, but slowly. Eventually it'll get to the point to where we'll have, you know, our full pressure in here that we need. But yeah. And I think with the way that these things work is they work better if you have a higher pressure back here than what you're putting in here. Like, I don't think they really work very well as a pump. So just kind of keep that in mind. So as long as this is, you know, relatively high pressure, it'll probably shove through fairly easily. So we'll just let that run for a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't explode. We are pulling in more air into our tank. All right, so this is already down to 302. And this is with it actively shoving more hotter gas into here. So it is cooling down, which is what we want. But yeah, I think we just need like more pressure in here, and then that'll allow more efficient heat, well, cooling, I guess. All right, I need water, so let's go and get some. Okay, we're at 38 degrees, which means that thing isn't really doing very much here. All right, so let's eat.
Low pressure.
Yep,
Oxygen critical.
I'm aware.
Low pressure. Oxygen critical.
Good to go. Hey, we're getting oxygen again. Yay. All right, sweet. All right, so that means that I can take this thing and rotate it back out. There we go, pressure reg. We want this to be set to, I don't know, like 30 or something. Wait, no, cancel that. There we go. 30 kilopascals, right? Okay, so that'll take some of the oxygen that we are now producing. Of course, I gotta shove that in there too, so that'll be fun. And that'll start repressurizing the room, which will be good. Yeah, so that'll be fine there. That's putting out 7.5 megapascals to fill up this, so that should all be working again. This is gonna pull from the tank. Is that what I want right now? Probably not. I'll just shove this over there for now. Say it pulls from this instead. All right, so we'll let that run for a little while. Hopefully I will have a insulated area up here again. And then as the pressure increases, of course, this will increase the pressure and stuff in here too, so that'll be fine. Right, and if our tank, which we're using to cool this thing, is at 150, that's going to be a little much for this. Huh. I don't know, we're going to have to figure something to do with that. Because I'm thinking it's probably not going to want to work very well. So let's see, 150. So 154, we can get to 29 degrees. So if I set this up to like 30, would that kind of keep it at 30? I think it probably would. And 30 is still okay for me, so I'm good with that. All right, so, right. Let's check on the greenhouse. All right, ferns are growing, good. Nothing's dying, it's also good. All right, I am gonna need more water. So that's gonna be another thing I'm gonna have to do. Which means I need to hook up the volatiles again. That should be fairly easy. I think I left the ceiling pretty much open over there, so I can just reconnect the volatiles tank. And then eventually that's going to run out, and I'm going to have to figure out a new way to get volatiles, which is probably just going to be another filter set in here somewhere. But anyways, that's what I have this for. So we're going to run this all the way back out there. Pretty much a straight shot, nothing in the way. There we go. I'm gonna need more pipe, dude. And then, of course, this has to be painted. And this has to go that way. I need two more pipes. Do I have 2 more pipes on me? I do not. I mean, I have insulated pipes, but that's not the same. I mean, I could use the insulated pipes, I suppose. It's fine. Let's just make some more. I need to keep a small selection of pipe on me anyways for, you know, doing atmospheric units. But we'll just do 2 for now. Alright, and then we'll throw the red in here, get this repainted. There we go, nice straight shot. And that will have this all connected again. Okay, then how are we doing here? You still want more, okay. We're at 297, so that should be good to go. And then what is the temperature of this currently? 39. Pressure in here is at 10 megapascals, good. Temperature is pretty much right where it needs to be, so that's also good. What is our pressure over here? We're at 13 megapascals. Okay. Good to go. We're still doing a thing. It's still working, so I'm pretty happy so far. Pressure is building up a little bit in here, and that's because the pressure in here is higher. So that all kind of makes sense. This does not need to be here. That was originally for my waste tank, so I'm gonna have to figure something else out for that. Probably a way to collect the oxygen back out of it, because before I was just like shoving it into the fuel and then, you know, saying it's fine. All right, so if this is at 10, It's at 11 now. Nice. I think those numbers down there on the bottom are wrong. 278 days and 248 that I've survived. I haven't died yet, so... Okay, so the reason why this is probably slow to fill up is because as the pollutant condenses itself out, we're going to be left with... Yeah, and of course this one... So yeah, so that one's condensing more, which is why this one has more pressure, because this one isn't condensing as quickly. And this one's at 12.6, and that's not condensing at all. So it's at 175 degrees, really? And this is, what is this doing? Looks like it's also condensing. And then this is also condensing. What? This shouldn't be doing any of that. Huh. Weird. Unless it's just because this is... Well, no, that's at 264. That is pretty warm. And we're at 286 liters here. And then I have to reconnect up this. So this was our kind of protection circuit here for all of this. I'm going to have to figure out like a different way to get this to work, I think. There is liquid in the pipe. Really? I suppose that makes sense. Okay, so let's fix that real quick. Just throw a condensation valve on here. Okay, so that'll go there. All right, and then this needs to be... There we go. And then this can just kind of connect up to here. There we go, and that'll reduce any stress on the pipe there, because any liquid will just get shoved out. So that's doing a thing. Good. Everything all at once, right? All right, so we'll let that go for a little while longer. We're at 23 megapascals in there. It's a lot. All right, so let's go up to the greenhouse, empty out my waste tanks. All right, pressure in here is up to 50. Very nice. All right. There we go. So that is now good to go. This is barely growing. Why are you barely growing? Probably because I'm running out of water. And we're down to 5 liters. Barely growing. This is... Well, let's just check it out real quick. Growth efficiency, light efficiency is down. But it says there's, oh, we're dark deficient. It's too light? Huh. Hydration is good. So I guess that's pretty much all we need. All right, so... I don't know, it should be doing a thing, right? Well, hopefully they will just continue growing. .6% O2. Okay. I need to eat something again. All right. Okay, we're 33 degrees now. That's good. I think we were at 39 before, so it looks like it's enough for that to run. We are at 24 degrees, which means that I can actually take off my suit, which is nice. Let's see. Let's just get rid of that. Oh. These I don't need. This I probably don't need. Good enough. Okay, so that is pumping this full, and we're getting up to 30 megapascals, or 30 kilopascals, so... Alright, what do you say we get this going, hey? Alright. Alright, so... Now that I can actually breathe again, that's good. Done. Oh, there says there's 14 liters of liquid in here. Okay, so I guess we're okay on water for now. I don't know, man. Well then, if that's the case, let's just take a shower real quick. There we go. We'll get that processed again. I don't want to leave any water in here whatsoever because I need all of the water that I can for the plants. So whenever I take a shower, I just immediately clean the water and we're good to go. Alright, so now hygiene is good. I just gotta wait for the mood to improve. Okay, so we have kind of a mess down here. This is less of a mess, which is good. Let's see, this can get changed to this. Oh, we are way too high of pressure in here. You can stop, please. 85 megapascals in there. Oh, right, that had to drop off too. Okay. Well, I would say that these are probably all at 15 megapascals right now. So that's good. Yep, there you go. So no more need to work on these, I don't think. And we can just leave that on for now. Let this thing kind of figure itself out. This is almost out anyways, so... Okay, well, fun. Then, okay, so we're trying not to break this window by venting all of this all at once. Ooh, that dropped a whole lot out. Okay. Okay, looks like it's not breaking anything, so that's good. Let's vent that the rest of the way. Yeah, so that should be good, potentially. Alright, so now I just gotta wait for each of these loops to cool down to what they need to be at. And then we should be good to go. 25 degrees there. That's still cooling or heating. Now it's cooling. Okay. So yeah, that has to get down to 55. we go. So all the pollutant is now out of there, so that should cool down fairly quickly. And then this still has some pollutant in there, so that has to get the rest of this out. That's pretty much, yeah, so this one's gonna have to be 85. So eventually this will cool down too. And then we'll probably need a little bit more pressure in here just to kind of cap everything off. So I think that'll all be fine. But yeah, so we'll let the cooling loops kind of do their thing. This, was I supposed to, yeah, get that going. Okay, and that's still requesting more. So get this cooled down.
Power low.
All right. Yep, 3 batteries. They're now dead. We still have 4 batteries though, so I mean we're doing really, really good on power so far. And then once that storm comes through, it'll charge up all the batteries and then should be good to go. All right, so so far it seems to be working. We're at 312. That's hot. And there's 77 degrees, so that's really hot too. But I think that's also because these cooling loops aren't where they need to be yet. This one's kind of bouncing all around. There's no more pollutant in there, so we don't have to worry about burst pipes from liquefaction of stuff. All right, and then pressure here is fine. What do we have in here? 839 liters. That's a lot. Okay, so for this, I think I will want to have this run across the middle here and then have this kind of pop out. So I can run this up and then into there. And that'll allow me a bit more control over this thing to make sure that doesn't explode, because that would be not great. Not that it really matters too much, to be honest. I mean, the only pollutant that I'm putting in here is just whatever is condensing out of the tank. But I suppose that could be significant. Eventually, maybe. I don't know. But probably not. So I think we'll be okay for a little while. Let's see. We're at 58 minutes in the video, so I think it's just now kind of like a waiting game. And we just got to make sure that everything... Oh, wow, it's 130 out there. Oh, wait, no. That's because... Yeah, I think my sensor is like... Yeah, my sensor is right here. So I think it needs to be like somewhere else away from all of the movement here, because I got this coming out, which blows right across the sensor. I've got the vent up there, which is pulling in everything, which blows across the sensor. So I think that's not exactly a great place for it. But I think for now, that'll be good for this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, hopefully you'll join me for the next one. But I guess until then, have a good one.